Welcome. Let's begin today's session with a breathing exercise. I invite you to sit back, relax. If you're comfortable, close your eyes, or you can gaze at something in front of you with a soft gaze. Let's bring our attention to the breathing that's going on, always, all the time. And now simply noticing, being aware of the air going in and out. Let's take 3 cleansing breaths. With each breath in, slowing down the breathing, slower than normal. Breathing in, slow and deep. And breathing out, letting go. After the 3 breaths, let's let the breathing go back in its natural cycle. Let's make an intention to put away our things to do, our devices, close the door of the room that you're sitting in, and make an intention to be present. Make the best out of this time, this session that we're having, by being focused, alert, and putting it into practical actions to get the best value out of today. And let's move our body, fingers, toes, or side to side, taking our time, slowly coming back, opening our eyes. Welcome to our New You program. This is week 2, where we will be focusing on purpose and values. So last week we got started. We worked on setting our resolutions, and today it will be about the reason behind your resolutions, the purpose, the why, and discovering your purpose in life. And we will do a guided meditation with a mantra, quote, and an affirmation. So, reviewing last week, one of the first things we highly recommended you was to get a journal or your own golden book. Taking something as simple as a notebook or even simply a piece of paper in which you start to write. Welcome 2023, writing down your resolution or what you want to do as goals and themes this year, especially in the next 12 weeks. Writing off the I can't, crossing that T off, starting to believe and repeat that I can. Repeating I will, and committing, and again reading this every night before you go to bed, and then as you wake up in the morning, again reading or reminding yourself, changing your mindset with I can, I will, I commit. So today in our golden book or your notebook, we will be focusing on the purpose. I have this wonderful quote here: the purpose of life is to contribute in some way to make things better. So what we will encourage you to do today is to think about your legacy. Think about 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. How would you have wanted to have lived this life? And with this, the exercise that we will do today, you will be writing down, I feel called to do this, fill in your own blanks, and why I'm called to do this, because. And again, the reason for this is very simple. If we can connect with the feeling, if we can connect with what we want to do and why we want to do, that will always be our North Star. It will drive us towards our whatever we want to achieve. So next, before we get into the concepts, let's do a little bit of a stretching. I invite you to stand up and let's do one simple stretch by first planting our feet parallel, relaxing our elbows, relaxing our knees, bending our knees slightly. Let's bring the palms in front of us, breathing in as slow as we can. Breathe, stretch up our arms, palms, and then breathing out, let's let go and returning back to the center. 2 more times. Breathing in, holding the stretch, and breathing out, letting go. 1 more time. And letting go. Let's take a pause. Next, we'll do some tapping, flat palm or a fist, starting from our fingers, starting to tap inside of the arms, shoulders, back of the arms. Continue tapping, work with your body. If you're comfortable, do less or more, or simply skip. Do what feels right. And again, if you're not comfortable, simply watch. So you're opening up the blockages, releasing the tension, getting the energy to flow. And let's take a pause. And last thing what we'll do is kind of shake it off. Palms up and down, or breathing in and letting go. So with that, the energy flowing, let's come back to our chairs. So let's get started with the quote and the affirmation for this week. The quote is, "The purpose of life is not to be happy. It is to be useful, to be honorable, to be compassionate, to have it make some difference that you have lived and lived well." And the affirmation, as we think of what is going to be a legacy, or what is the purpose that you will find today, starting to work on, the affirmation will be that I live my purpose and I take aligned actions. We'll return to this quote and affirmation during our guided meditation at the end. And to get us started today, we have a wonderful guest, Amanda or Mandy, who is a mentor and a coach. And now I'm going to hand it over to her for her introduction and her session.
Hi, everybody. And thanks so much, Jazz, for having me today. And this is such an important topic. I feel like to get started with the new year, to really help everyone find their purpose. My name's Amanda Gatlin. A lot of people call me Mandy. I'm a writer, an artist, a creator, and a business and life coach. And I really love helping people align with their gifts so they can find their truth and create a life they love. As you can see, some of those little images down at the bottom there, I'm a coach and a blogger. And I originally started as a balloon and helium supply company. So you see a little bit of my work there. That's some of the balloon work that I used to do way back in the day. I owned a balloon company and I built that business up. And it at some point was making quite a bit of money from that company, but I was really, really burnt out. And at some point, I was hearing to go do meditation for myself, and I kept putting it off. I didn't want to do it. And And at some point, I gave in because I was just so burnt out. And once I started doing meditation, I became way more aware of what was going on in my life, and even the things that were not aligned for me. And what became clear was that I was living a life, have had a business that just did not really fit me all that well. And it also kind of showed me that I needed to evolve and that it was time for me to evolve and pivot. And so at some point, I started doing spiritual work with people, and that really started to light me up. And that all came through me doing a lot of inner work, a lot of journaling, a lot of meditating, and a lot of work with teachers. I found a lot of teachers that helped me along the way. And at some point, it just made sense for me to move forward. And so I did sell my business and I took the leap and started doing some spiritual work, spiritual coaching. And I felt way more fulfilled by that. Now I've even gone through almost a whole other transition with my husband and I. We have decided to go full-time RVing, and that was a huge decision for us in our lives. And we ended up doing that because we felt called to do it. And so now we're really living our lives by what our values are and what feels in alignment to us. So I'm hoping that by talking with you guys today and doing this exercise today, that you can really dive into your values and really see what your purpose is and start living that purpose. So yeah, Jazz, you can go to the next slide. So yeah, today we're going to be talking about finding your purpose. And we're going to do that through an exercise where you can go and dive in and see what your values are. And then I also love to give people a chance to tune into themselves and see what their naggings are. And I use the word naggings, but you can use the word nudging or calling, whatever feels good to you. But it's basically that deep feeling that comes from within you. So yeah, we're gonna dive into that and see what comes up for you. So yeah, you can go on to the next slide. So knowing your why behind your goal is the most important thing. If you want to really know your purpose, you really want to know your why. And so when you know your why, it's going to give your goals and your purpose meaning. It's going to give you a reason to keep going. It's going to give you a reason to get up in the morning, and you're going to have a higher chance of success if you know what that why is, if you know what your deeper reason is. So yeah, if you really want to dive into this, it's going to help you figure out your next steps and really help you get a clear sense of your purpose. There's so many studies that have been done on this, but a UCLA study even showed that people live longer when they know their purpose and when they have a clear sense of meaning in their lives. So yeah, you'll feel better. You're going to have better health, most likely better relationships, and you're going to live longer in your life if you do know your purpose and your why. So yeah, you can go on to the next slide. So let's talk a little bit about what your purpose is not, okay? Because I think this is where people really struggle with finding their purpose. A lot of times we're doing this thing where we put pressure on ourselves. So it's your purpose is definitely not what you think you should be doing. It's not going to be something where you feel like a lot of pressure on yourself. You'll see, it's going to be the thing that lights you up instead. It's also not what others tell you to do. Okay, so this is kind of where I see when work with people or talk with people, a lot of times they're living for someone else. It could be your parents, giving you instruction or direction about what to do with your life. It could be your spouse, a friend, society in general, telling you what's a good path for you. And so that's definitely not where your purpose comes from as well. The other thing is that it's not a short-term goal or end game. So it's definitely for your journey, it's going to be your life path. It's not going to be it's going to be a longer journey and a longer path. That's what your purpose is. It's not going to be this just kind of end goal, very short-term thing. So next slide. What your purpose is it's your why. It's really your reason for being here on earth. It's your unique blueprint. It's what lights you up. It gives you a sense of happiness and fulfillment. It gets you out of bed in the morning. It's your compass. It gives you direction in your life, and it leads you on your path. And I say it's your calling. I use the word nagging or nudging as well for that. But it's really what gives you that sense of wanting to make a difference in the world. Next slide. Yeah, so how to know what your purpose is. There's really many different ways that we can look at and find what our purpose is. Sometimes you can dive in and see if it's like through skills that you have, experiences that you have, challenges that you've gone through. But for today, we're going to look at what your values are. And to me, that's always the fastest and easiest way for you to discover your purpose. And this is Connie. This is a picture of one of my clients and a friend of mine that I've known for a very long time. And I love sharing Connie's story because I think it's so relatable, and it gives you a really good example of someone who, probably like all of us, right? Early on in life, we start off kind of doing things the way we think we should be doing them, maybe helping others. And so for Connie, she was coming to my class, a meditation class that I had started. And she came up to me one day after class and she shared with me that she was feeling really unfulfilled. And she told me that her husband owns a auto business, and she was doing oil changes for her husband. And I kind of smiled and giggled with her, and I could tell in her eyes that she was like over it. She didn't want to do that anymore. But there was something really going on, with her. And when I talked to her a little bit more, she said that, she had been experiencing some serious health issues, and she really found that she couldn't live her life this way anymore. And so she was starting to reach out and do some things like meditation. But she was also going to some alternative healing people. And she ended up working with a Reiki healer. She felt called to start doing that for others because she found that it was helping her so much. And so what she was finding was that through tuning into these things that felt important to her and releasing the things that were, really causing her some stress and anxiety in her life and really feeling out of alignment, by aligning to her values, her life started to change. And Connie started teaching Reiki, and then she slowly built up her business. And just last year, we worked together She had a calling in her heart to create this bigger mentorship. And she did that. She developed it out and she took the brave steps and started teaching. And she got some clients and it started changing their lives too. So this is the ripple effect that it can have when you really dive in to your own values and find your purpose in your life. So today we're going to help you find your values. And so I'd love to just take you through a very brief meditation just to help you center first, and then we'll do the exercise. Okay, so if you like, you can sit back and close your eyes. Just put your hands on your thighs, palms facing down, and just take a nice long deep breath in through your nose. And then just release out the mouth and just sigh a little bit. And breathing in through the nose and just watching your breath with your mind's eye as it travels down into your heart space. And just releasing the breath and just saying, letting go in your mind. And breathing in one more long, nice, deep breath. And then just release out the mouth and just feel your shoulders drop. And just continuing to breathe in and out through your nose. And just bringing your awareness and your attention to your heart. If you like, you can even put one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly area. And as you breathe, just feel your heart, your chest, and your belly expand and contract. And just feeling yourself center to your true self. Calling in that part of you that knows exactly what you want, exactly what you're here for, what you're meant to do, what you're meant to share with the world. And just feel yourself connecting to that part of you, that part of you that has clarity, just feeling that part of you come forward even more. And just feel yourself filling with joy as you connect to that part of you that's here to make a difference on earth. As you align with your values and what's important to you. Taking a nice big deep breath in. And as you release it, just feeling yourself stepping forward and bringing that part of you here. Bringing that part of you here forward. And feel yourself slowly coming back and bringing that part of you forward even more. And as you come back now, you can open your eyes, feeling refreshed, feeling centered and connected. Really good. So now we're going to step into that exercise. So when you're ready, you can grab a pen and your journal or piece of paper. And this exercise is really simple. And I want you to really stay connected to that part of you that knows your truth. And just read through these words. And I want you to just scan through them. Don't think too much. Stay connected to your heart space. And as you scan through the words, I want you to jot down any words that stand out to you. We're going to try to just write down about 5 to 10. So just take a moment with this page here, with these words. And we are going to provide you guys with the words so that you can do this homework for yourself later and go even more deep with this exercise. So you will get a chance to look those over and take your time. And I would even suggest doing a meditation for yourself tonight or in the next few days and just seeing if there's any words that come to you in your meditation. Or really just stay in awareness about words that resonate with you in the next few days as they pop up. Because now that you're connected and centered, you're more likely to encounter words that resonate for you. So now I'd like you to take those words and I'd love for you to look them over and choose maybe 5. And you can even narrow them down to 1. There should be 1 that's really standing out to you. And a lot of times what happens with this exercise is that you'll start off with a few words or a word. And if I asked you about that word, you might say, yeah, I'm really resonating with something like, health. And then if you dig a little bit deeper and you talk about that word, you may end up actually finding that there's another word that resonates more deeply for you. So it could be that, you're really trying to have well-being and health in your life. But then what comes from that is that you're really feeling like you're growing, in some way, because you're really going into your well-being. So that could be something to look into a little bit more deeply when you do your homework. But for now, just see what word comes really easily. So yeah, you just want to look for that 1 word. And someone's asking if we can put the words back up while I'm talking. I'm not sure if we can go back a slide and give you guys another minute or 2 to look through the words. Yeah. And then 1 word should stand out really strongly to you. And it could be 1 or 2, so don't pressure yourselves to come down to 1 word. I usually like to say for people, find 5. And then of those 5, usually 1 is going to start popping up to the surface and it may flip around. So at times in your life, you might find that, your word is like feeling centered. You want to feel centered all the time, right? But then at times you feel that urge to grow. And so then growth comes up to the surface for you. So as you tune in, you may even want to tune in to see what you're feeling right now in this moment. What feels important to you? What do you feel called, about?
Yeah, Mandy, I'll
Yeah.
also remind that we will send these over as an exercise and we will put it on the summary webpage with the recording. So for
Yes.
today, just don't overthink it.
Yep.
Hopefully, don't let
Don't
this
overthink.
overwhelm you. Just
Yeah.
whatever one thing or two of these that are resonating with you, let's work with those and you can
Yep.
go deeper during the week. So
Yeah. Yep. So as you look at these top values, I really want you to keep tuning in and ask yourself, what are you getting the nagging to do right now? So the reason that I have you ask yourself this question is because a nagging is like a pull for you. It's something that you feel called to do right now. And this is a really important question to meditate with because that question is going to lead you. It's going to help you really find your purpose. And if you're a goal setter, someone who likes to have goals or be able to take actions, it's really important to know what you feel called to do right now. And that will help you discover what goals to set for the year. So if you can see it this way, it's like if I, for example, wanted to create a program this year, to help my clients or something, I would need to know what that feels like. What nagging am I get to share, right, with my people? And a lot of times, if I just pay attention to what that feels like for me, I'll end up feeling that really strongly, like, oh, I need to help them with purpose, this year. So that's something that then I would say, well, what goals can I set for myself to create that program? And that's a way to start. And you guys will see as we move through the program together, what things you can do to help yourself move forward with those goals. So something I like to have you do, and the next slide, you're going to see that, is you can create a purpose statement for yourself. This is kind of the thing that you can write down, put next to you, maybe put it next to your computer or something, or your bed, and you can look at it and remind yourself of what you feel called to do right now. And so, very simply for today, we're just going to have you look at the two first lines. I feel called to do blank, and I'm called to do it because blank. So you may, like for me, my example would be I feel called to create a program on purpose. And I feel called to do it because I really love helping people discover their purpose and feel aligned in their lives. So it's very simple. Just take a minute to fill that in. And as you can see, we have more there, and we're going to send that to you in the email so that you can continue. If you know right away what your purpose is, as I'm talking, you're reading the rest. It means I need to show up in the following gifts or skills. You can list out those gifts or those skills that you have. And then you can help people in a particular way. What particular people do you want to help? You can even list that. Maybe it's, people who work. Maybe it's moms. Maybe it's dads. You can list out that group of people, and you need to show them what exactly to help them, how to get through it, or how to accomplish it, or how to develop something. So as you can see, as you go a little bit deeper, it's going to really help you narrow down your purpose more. So we'll send that to you guys so that you have that. So, ways to stay clear on your purpose, what to look for, what can help you. Definitely the first one is aligning to your top values and listening to those naggings so that you can stay on your path. And the next one would be thinking of this as a journey. So I really love for you to, as you tune in to yourself, I really want you to see this as your path. And the way that I describe it to people is you can see this as a path that you're walking, okay? And your values and your purpose are like in a treasure box at the end of your path, okay? And so you're taking your time on your journey to really find the values and the things that align with you. Now, the more that you take actions that are in alignment, you're going to feel happier on your journey. So the things that feel like a yes to you, you're going to feel them in your body. Okay. It's going to light you up. You're going to feel that like motivation, and you're going to feel compelled, to get out of bed in the morning to take those actions. When it's a no, you're going to know for sure. It's not going to feel good, to you. Now, not to get too deeply into this, but there's definitely times when you're aligning to your purpose that you're going to feel like you have to do some work. And so sometimes that can confuse people, about, well, does that feel like a no? And no, not necessarily. There's going to be times that you feel like, something is hard or challenging, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a no, right? So also the limiting beliefs and fears come up. Anytime that you start to take steps on your path and you start to take those brave actions, and I can speak from experience because when we started doing RVing last year, we had so much fear about doing that. We knew nothing about RVing. We knew nothing about how to take care of an RV. And so those fears came up, and that's what's going to happen. The moment that you really start getting clear and you start taking steps towards your purpose, the fears are going to come up. Now, next week, we're going to have a speaker come on, and they're going to talk about how you can overcome those blocks and those fears. So you'll definitely get a chance to address those. So just a recap for you guys, how to really get into your purpose. The easiest way, number one, is list your values. Anytime that you start to feel confused about your purpose, just get out a piece of paper or your journal and just quickly list some of those values, that feel important to you. The next thing that you'll want to do after you list those values is really feel into the naggings and the calling. What is it that you feel called or nagged to do, in this moment? And write that out as a purpose statement. Write out what feels good to you. And then, of course, the last thing is to take aligned actions. And so we talked about that as it is on your journey, as you're moving through and going on your path. You want to definitely take those aligned actions, even if fears or anything do come up for you. All right. So we're just going to do a meditation to ground in your purpose. Jazz is going to take over from here. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Thank you, Andy. And again, we'll share all the exercises and details. So look for the recording and the webpage. Let's spend next 5 minutes to sort of meditate or reflect on what we did today, and hopefully, again, help it go deeper and take an action. And this is one way in which you can take action. So hopefully everyone's written that down. As an example, I started to write my values and start of my purpose statement today. And a simple reminder that, from time to time, your purpose will slightly adjust, change, So you can always redo the exercise, or you can focus on. But I love that concept Mandy shared with us, that let's use what is coming up, but then what are you getting called to do? And hopefully, I know, thank you, Mandy, for that wonderful meditation, because I saw myself as an example, leaning forward as a way to step in. So, with that, let's get started on this exercise. I would invite you to, again, relax your body, sit back if you need to. Let's be comfortable. Let's close our eyes if you can, and if you're comfortable. Let's relax our body by focusing on a few areas in our body, starting from the top, relaxing our forehead, our head, softening our eyes, relaxing our ears, nose, dropping our tongue, relaxing our face, jaw, softening and dropping our shoulders, all that weight that we carry. Relaxing and smiling with our heart, opening it up. With today's quote, listening or repeating these words: the purpose of life is not to be happy or just happy. It is to be useful, to be honorable, to be compassionate. It is to have made some difference. And by doing that, you will know at any given moment that you lived, and you lived well. So listening to these words, again, bring that one or two or few of those values that were on the top that you connected with today. Just visualizing any images, any feelings. And as you say those words silently or imagine, see how your body changes. See if you relax your shoulders, your heart opens up, if there's a smile that comes on your face. If it helps, you can even slightly lean forward as if stepping in, again, committing, going from I can't to I will, and I commit to taking some steps, however small they may be. And today's affirmation, as you start to be clear on what your purpose is, for now, just repeat this affirmation, or in your own words: I live my purpose. I live my purpose. And I take aligned actions. Again, thoughts will come, fears will come, limiting beliefs will come. At any given time, only one thought can be there, one focus can be there, and you can change that right now by repeating that word as a mantra, or repeating an affirmation. I live my purpose. I am committed I will. I take aligned actions. Okay. If thoughts go somewhere else, come back to the breathing. Come back to the words. Come back to that images. Come back to that feeling of what you will be in 12 weeks starting today. Like this, congratulating yourself, patting yourself on the back with your palm or simply in your mind. You showed up today. You've already taken many steps. So smiling, feeling better and better. Let's start to come back to our body, moving our fingers, our toes, side to side. Taking your time, no rush, bringing your palms together, rubbing them. And with a slight bow, if you like, being grateful for this wonderful time and putting your palms on your eyes, your face, your hair, neck, shoulders. Taking your time, opening your eyes, coming back with a smile, feeling refreshed. And I welcome you back. So with that, again, it's important to put it into action, such as think of one or few words, thoughts, feelings, images that came up in this brief session, in this meditation that we just did. Anything new happened, anything different that happened, and give it words. And one way you can do that is by typing it in the chat or simply writing it down. Again, something magical happens when you go from, yes, that was nice to hear, to I will, and further writing in a cursive way. So again, take a few minutes to write that down. Please share with us what connected, what resonated today in the chat. In the closing, I'll also leave you with that. Have a wonderful day and week ahead. Again, take some steps, be positive, stay focused, read your journal, read your diary, read that piece of paper in the evening, at night before you go to sleep, first thing when you wake up. Repeat those words. You don't need the diary. It's just there to help you. And again, also read the quote, follow us on social media, and we're sharing every day some quote or an affirmation. Stay motivated, stay inspired. I'll also share the links of the social media, and please take a 1-minute survey. Let us know what worked, and we'll see you next week in the limiting beliefs. We'll have another wonderful guest teacher. And lastly, I'm going to leave you some contact information for Mandy. Mandy, if you want to take a minute and share, otherwise I'll have this in the email as well.
Yeah.
Please, yeah.
Yeah, everybody. Oh, I just want to thank everyone. And that was a wonderful meditation, Jazz. I was feeling all tingly from that. So I hope everyone connected with that as well. But yeah, if anybody has questions, that's my email address. Feel free to share with me personally if you want to reach out. I love hearing from people. I love hearing them, connect with their purpose. And I love helping. So if you need anything, just email me and I'd be happy to email you back personally. And yeah, that's my website where you can find out more, my Facebook, my Instagram. So if you wanted to join me personally, that's where you can find me.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mandy. And that's one way you can support us is by working with our coaches and instructors. So Mandy is excellent, especially if you're on the verge of figuring out your purpose or living your purpose. by perhaps you want to start a business. She does wonderful coaching in that area. I also on my website have an exercise if you want to work one-on-one on figuring out your purpose more for individually if you're not sure. Set up a complimentary session with either one of us, and we will see you next week, and I'll share the recording and the exercise. Stay motivated, stay inspired, and thank you for joining us today. Bye-bye.